G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Sore Losers Show. I'm excited about this one. I've been waiting for this product. This is the Ace Inverted Kingpin truck system, which is the Click Lock Pro system. I'm not saying that again. We're going to cover everything from obviously the new inverted kingpin system to the weight and strength improvements to the price here in Australia, when you can look forward to getting your hands on a set for yourself, and some of the technology that made this possible. Now that's a lot, so let's jump right in. Straight up, I just want to say that this episode is not sponsored by Ace Trucks or any distributorship or anything like that, but I have to give a thank you to AHA from Trinity Distribution and Trapdoor Distribution for letting me borrow his personal set that he goes around to the shops and shows people. Here's the thing, I don't get to keep these. I'm just getting my hands on just to show you guys. So yeah, just so we're clear, this is not sponsored by Ace, so on and so forth. Let's have a look at the trucks. I'm sure by now everybody's heard of AF1, and that's probably why you've clicked on this, because you are familiar with Ace trucks as well. In case you're not, otherwise let's crack on. So let's start at the top. Let's start at the hanger. A couple of things. I want to breeze through this so we can get to the nitty-gritty of the really good stuff. So the hanger, exactly the same measurement-wise, everything. If you get a 44, it's going to match the 44 on an AF1 truck. The geometry is exactly the same, so you can switch them in and out. That'll be important in a little second. The axle, it's a semi-hollow axle. Ace are calling it the strongest axle they've ever made. So it's solid throughout where the hanger is, where you're going to be grinding in case you grind down to the axle. And it's hollow at the tips, just the tip. And what this means is you've got a stronger axle and a lighter weight axle due to it being hollow at either end. So if Ace are calling it their strongest axle that they've made to date, I believe them because they do a lot of testing. These come with a black rethreading tool. I guess a point of difference from the other AF1s. Your normal AF1s come with a red tool, the hollows come with a gold, and so they've gone with black for the inverted kingpin, so at a glance you can tell what you're getting. When these are released, they will only be available in the 44 and 55 axles, that being respectively 8¼ inch and a 8½ inch axle. The way you can tell your axle width is with all the AF1 trucks, you just have a look there. Hopefully the camera can pick that up, and that will let you know in inches the width of the axle, so it's really easy to match up with boards that way. And I think more truck companies should do exactly that. Now let's have a quick look at the bushing. Let's start at the bottom. It's the same. It's just the same setup as on any other AF1. It's the same height, the same hardness, 86A. Moving up to the top, we have a shorter bushing than you would normally find on a AF1 truck. That's to bring the grind clearance down a little more, I assume. And it's also harder than you would get in your standards. It's closer to a hard bushing. I think it's a 96A. But that shouldn't make too much difference, only because your bottom bushing is always doing the grunt work when it comes to turning and everything like that. The top bushing is more a stability thing. So yeah, but I might just mention quickly that the washer on top is also a custom washer for this truck because it is recessed to house the kingpin. And I think we leave bushings alone there and we just move right along to the base plate and kingpin, because that's the really exciting bit about this truck. Well, it is for me anyway. So let's go. Let's really have a good look at it. I've got one here that is just the base plate, and they will be available similar to this in just the base plate with your top and bottom washer and bushings. They'll be available for sale as well as a complete truck, so that you can just swap out your pre-existing Ace AF1 or even standard hanger. But let's flip them over and have a look. So initially, and here is an old AF1 truck of mine, and they look very similar with the repeated Ace logo. One notable difference is that within the recesses here, they are hollowed out more and they are domed. So I guess the dome gives it strength, while hollowing out is going to make it lighter. And this, Ace is saying, is the lightest base plate that they have produced. Combining that with the hanger technology now, you got a really light truck and a really strong truck. And that's only in materials. That's excluding the other technology within this truck, being the inverted kingpin, which I want to touch on quickly because here is part of the system. You'll notice there is no nut there. Other inverted kingpin systems tend to rely on a nut, which for me, and I've heard a lot of people say this, that nut rattles loose. If you're not catching the nylon thread in it, your kingpin can fall out, your hanger can fall off mid-skate. The other disadvantage of having a system with a nut in it is you cannot tighten down maybe as hard as you want to get it, because your kingpin is eventually going to drive in to the board. But the good people at Ace, they're problem solvers. So what they've done is put the thread much higher in the base plate itself. So the kingpin itself, very much a flatter head than you'd be used to. Now you can see there that there is no nut on top. That's how they managed to get it flatter. Without the need for a nut, it just operates off an Allen key system. It is a hollow kingpin, and these vertical recesses here, there's 3 of them along the truck. They create the locking system. So let's have a look at that locking system and how it all works. So I'm just going to get that into a finger tightened position, and I'm going to do this. Now I'm using an Allen key here because I am using Aha's show and tell set that he takes around to stores. So it does not have the tool, but this tool here will come with it, and that's how it works. It's a mag lock system. So it fits into the deck bolt tightening bit on your T-tool, on your skate tool, and makes it easier for access. That's the other thing about a bolt system, if I can quickly, is they're often really hard to access because they are inverted and they're deeper down. Your skate tool often can't grab the bolt. They're too deep in. So this Allen key just solves a whole bunch of problems. So I just want to hold this. So that clicking sound is it locking. This is technology Ace have been working on for ages, and they really wanted to get it right before release. So I don't think you'll have the problems that you may have had with some inverted kingpins in the past. Or if this is your first time with an inverted kingpin, you're probably going to have the best possible experience because these have been through rigid testing by team riders, and they've really nutted out all the problems that come with having an inverted kingpin and needing that clearance. So speaking of clearance, this truck now holds the lowest grind clearance of any truck on the market at 44 millimeters. I don't know what that is in inches, but it's a lot, and I'm sure you can see there that you can well and truly see the axle behind there. So to me, that means you can grind this truck down to basically halfway or even further down through your axle before connection with the kingpin or that top washer should be an issue, meaning that you will get more life out of your truck. You may have spotted that these have like the old school hole pattern and the new school. That's just because I borrowed them off Aha. That will not be in the final product. This is blank on the ones I'm holding. The ones you'll be able to buy in the skate shop are going to have a Ace logo there, but I'm telling you, holding this is really light. And this, as a truck, is a super light truck. So when you put all those things together, what you end up with is the most technically advanced truck that Ace has ever made. You've got a super strong, hard-wearing AF1, which is lightweight, has an inverted kingpin with the lowest grind clearance of any truck on the market. New technology. It's an Ace truck, so you know it's turned. And this technology in here allows you to fine-tune your board like you would not normally be able to do with an inverted kingpin, or maybe a normal kingpin. Now, all that said, when can you get a set of these? When can I get a set of these? They're due for release in August 2025. That's when you'll be able to find them in shops. The base plate system, that's going to retail at $99 Australian, and the entire truck will be $179 Australian. So on the more expensive end of trucks, definitely. In saying that, there is so much technology in here and they are offering so much. I think these trucks will last you a long time. I was told that the entire size range will be out by November. I hope you found that informative, guys. If you like this kind of content, please like, please subscribe. Until next time, Demos or Loser Show, peace.